if you have not ever been to my channel before, I do beauty and fitness videos here on YouTube. Today's video is going to be a beauty video, and it's going to be a really interesting one because I'm going to be reviewing another totally new makeup product. This one is totally different. This eye makeup product I found at the Dollar Tree for $1. When it comes to my cosmetic and my makeup collection, I probably have the most of lipsticks and eyeshadow palettes. I love eye makeup, any kind of eye makeup, drugstore, high-end. I go to Ulta, I go to Walmart. I always gravitate towards the eye makeup because I love it, especially eyeshadow palettes. So when I saw this eyeshadow palette at the Dollar Tree for $1, I picked it up. And definitely thought I had to do a video on it. As y'all know, in my makeup review videos, I'm going to go over everything about this product, from the packaging, to the shadows, to the swatches, and I'm going to also do a little mini eye makeup tutorial, as I always like to do, so y'all can see how the products actually apply on my eyes. The brand of this eyeshadow palette is called LA Colors. LA Colors is known for being a very inexpensive brand. They're sold in dollar stores, and I know some drugstores too, I think Walmart and maybe some other ones. But with these inexpensive brands, sometimes you have good stuff, sometimes you have bad stuff. I personally tried some stuff from LA Colors. Some stuff has been really awful, and then there have been some good stuff too. So we're gonna see where this falls on there. So obviously this product is just $1. With it being a $1 product and having 12 colors in it, the expectations aren't that high, so we're gonna try and maintain a positive outlook because you never know, this could be really good. So starting with the packaging, obviously it's not high quality, it's $1, it's plastic, you can hear it when I tap my nails on it. It does come with this sponge tip applicators like a lot of drugstore eyeshadow palettes do, but I never really use these. I found they don't really work that well, and they definitely don't work to blend, so I don't really use these. But overall, the packaging isn't that bad for just $1. It does feel very flimsy, but I did drop this earlier and nothing shattered or broke yet, so I think we're doing okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start swatching these for y'all. These colors don't have names like most inexpensive palettes. They're not really called anything, so I'm just going to start swatching. I'm going to do these 4 at a time on my arm. I'm going to start at the top with the more purple tones, and then go to the middle, which has this white highlighting shade, and then some interesting orangey tones, and then a pinky purple one. And then I'm going to go on the last row, the 3rd row, which has neutral brown tones. The top row didn't impress me that much. Just looking at it, they kind of look like 70s or 80s, very outdated colors. But with brown eyes, we can typically rock those colors because that is actually what brings out our eyes. So, swatching them on my arm though, they don't come off that well, especially the first 2 lighter ones. They don't really show up that well on my arm, but that's okay, we still have the next row. The 2nd row is my favorite row of this palette. I feel like these colors are more pigmented, at least, than the top row, or maybe that's just because they look better on my skin tone. I'm noticing with these eyeshadows, they kind of have a little bit of powderiness. Is powderiness a word? I'm gonna say it is. They have a little powder in them when you swatch them, but that really doesn't bother me. I even have some high-end eyeshadow palettes that are a little bit powdery, so that really doesn't bother me. The last row is all brown and neutral tones, which I do like. I am more of a neutral toned eyeshadow girl, but the 3rd row actually really didn't impress me that much. I was expecting the 3rd row to be my favorite, but it really wasn't. They just kind of look okay again. Not bad, not great. So overall, the shadows swatch okay. They are a little bit powdery. Normally you can blend out a little bit of powderiness, you might get a little bit of fallout, but we will see when I apply them on my mini makeup tutorial, which I will insert here. Since these eyeshadows don't have names, I'm just going to describe them as I apply them. So I first started out with the most orangey eyeshadow in the palette as my transition shade, and I used a very fluffy blending brush to get that up into my crease. This shade specifically I really like. It swatched very well on my arm, and it blended well in my crease. I really do like this shade. Next, to deepen up the crease a little bit, I took the shade right next to the most orangey shade in the palette, also on the 2nd row. This one didn't impress me much as the orange one did, but I still think it did okay to deepen up my crease. It got the job done. Next, I went to the first row of the palette and got the second to the most brightest purple shade in the palette. This shadow looked a little bit better on my eye, I think, than it swatched on my arm. I did have to apply about 2 to 3 layers of this shadow just to give it the pigmentation that I wanted, but I still have to do that in some of my Covergirl and Maybelline eyeshadow palettes anyways. Next, I went to the third row of the palette and got the darkest shade in all of the palette, which is this dark brown shade, kind of looks like a chocolatey shade. And I put that on the outer corner of my eye and then blended it into the crease. This is the shadow that disappointed me the most in my eye look today. Swatching it on my arm, it actually looked pretty good, but then trying to blend it out in my crease, it kind of came off as muddy. Maybe this was because this is the fourth color that I was applying to my eyes and trying to blend it out. That might be why it was muddy, but applying this dark brown shade I thought would give it a more smoky effect, but it kind of gave it a muddy effect. It doesn't look that bad when looking back on the camera footage, but I'm not a real big fan of how it turned out. Next, I took that same dark brown chocolate shade just to give it another chance and applied it to my lower lash line, again trying to make it look a little bit smoky. Not really having to blend it out that much on my lower lash line and just having the eyeshadow by itself on my lower lash line, I feel like it did pretty good. Another color that impressed me is the very last color that I chose to use in this palette today, which is the white eyeshadow. I put that on my inner corner with my pinky and then on my brow bone as a highlight. Because typically when you use shadows like this, if you put it on your finger and put it on your inner corner as a highlight, it'll get a little bit more pigmented. And that was the case. I actually did have to take a blending brush and blend out that color a little bit off camera so it wasn't as harsh. So I was really impressed with this white eyeshadow. Now I'm going to get a little bit opinionated with this palette and share with y'all what I really think. Because I am not going to be one of those fake YouTubers who is all the time like, this is so great and I love this so much. And if I do, I'll tell you, I promise. But if I don't like something, I'll tell you too. So now that we've gone over the packaging, the shadows, the swatches, and I did my little baby eye makeup tutorial for y'all, I'm going to share what I really think about this palette. First thing, packaging doesn't bother me. I think it's overall good. Eyeshadows, I'm not a huge fan of the formula. I don't like how it's matte, but then slightly shimmer at the same time. I guess that's kind of nice for those who want a mixture of both, but for me, I just like my mattes to be mattes and my shimmers to be shimmers. Okay, so now let's talk about that blending. When blending, you can still tell a little bit of that powdery formula, but it doesn't really bother me that much at all. Got a little bit of fallout, but I blended it out and it was fine. Especially when I started with this orange shade right here, and then this color on top of it to deepen up my crease. I had some high hopes. I was like, okay, these two shades, they're looking pretty good. So then I put on that silver purple color and I was like, it's okay. And then I put on that dark chocolate color and I was like, no. I feel like the more colors I try and blend together in this palette, the more muddy it looks. So if you do pick up this palette, just try sticking to 3 colors on your lid at a time. Adding that 4th one in there was a mistake. It looked a little bit muddy after that. I know I'm being a little bit nitpicky. To some people that wouldn't bother them, and to some people they probably saying, Brooke, your eye makeup looks fine, calm down. But I just think it looks slightly muddy for what I would want. My final thoughts on this LA Colors eye makeup eyeshadow palette for just $1 is that it's just okay. The colors are okay, the blending is okay, the pigmentation is okay. But again, it's only $1. So if you're younger or new to makeup, or you just want to try out some makeup for very inexpensive, this is a good thing because it's only $1 and you can experiment and don't have to drop $50 on a high-end eyeshadow palette. But if you have worn makeup before, I would say to skip this because this isn't that best of quality compared to what else is out there. You can get some amazing eyeshadow palettes at the drugstore for just a few more dollars than this and have such better quality. I know Covergirl, for example, has been totally stepping up their game the past few years and has been cranking out some awesome eyeshadow palettes for still really inexpensive. They're not $1, but they're just a little bit more, and they're also awesome quality. Alright y'all, that is all for this eye makeup eyeshadow review by LA Colors. I hope y'all enjoyed learning about a new eyeshadow palette with me today. Let me know in the comments if you tried anything else by LA Colors, if you like them, if you don't. I have tried some other stuff from them that I like a little bit better than this palette. This palette though, yeah, it's just alright. Thank y'all so much for sticking with me through this video and watching my my videos on my channel. I love y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like before y'all go. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!